I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
All right, man.
Yo,
What's good, brother?
man, I'm extremely blessed and highly favored, man, to be in divine health, man. I don't take that lightly. You dig?
I feel you. So we here right now.
Yo,
My brother,
yes,
Darnell Kirkwood.
man.
But
it's a
also
blessing.
known as.
Solo the artist.
Yes,
for sure.
sir.
Yeah.
First off, I want to ask you, how'd you come up with that name?
Man, it's a multi-layered story, but in a short way. My family name on my mother's side is Solomon.
Okay.
And so one of the things, so I'm honoring Solomon in that Solomon. But
okay.
in the Bible, my favorite books were written by King Solomon, who was the wisest man in the world at that time, according to the Bible. And so still the context of what he wrote is still applicable to this day, and it's something that I call on every now and again to stay grounded. I'm obsessed with wisdom. I love wisdom, and so I put that in there because I was floating around the name King Solo. But to go back, I wanted to model my visual art path and my creative path through the music model. So I'm obsessed with music, and I like how you can know a music artist by only their music name and their government. You don't know their government. And so
You don't even know Future's name is Nevadius.
no, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Nigga's name is Nevadius.
I mean, it took me a while to know that Drake's name was Audrey. Like Aubrey, my fault. See, you know what I mean?
That nigga Drake.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking about my aunt. But yeah, so I wanted to model it off of that because, you know, I spent so many years in TV and film and modeling and everything, and I'm still going to be on that journey on screen. And I wanted to separate Darnell Kirkwood, the actor, and, you know, the person through this new journey that got delivered to me, man, with this art. And so I wanted to model it like that. And so that's how I came with it. But like I said, and so my whole journey is based on creating healthy energy, and I do my whole exhibits through and my whole practice through discoveries along the way. And so discoveries along the way are just little attracting and collecting these nuggets of wisdom that allows us to process, you know, life while we trying to figure out life and just survive and everything. And so, you know, little things that you can recall on to help you process life and stay in that healthy energy. That's how I create. That's what I live through, and that's what I do. So anyway, with that, that's where the King Solomon aspect of it. And man, this is everything that I've done beforehand has been a team journey. I did basketball beforehand for a whole career. And then, as you know, TV and film, it's a very team-oriented thing.
Very
and
much
so, you know, this is now me creating my
solo.
You know what I mean?
Man, I love it.
So it's a
triple
beautiful
entendre.
thing. It's it's a blessing, man.
It's
It was dope. So I just used that model, and now we going with it, bro.
I love that, man. So first off, how did you? I'm gonna show some of your art, man. Shit's crazy. I have to figure out or you have to explain how you got even into making art, because this is shit's really fire, bro. It's just really cool. Hold on, let me see that. Boom. Bruh.
Yeah, man.
These are detailed. I know you didn't just start painting yesterday. So how did this? If you were doing TV and film and all these things, where did this come from?
So, you know, it actually did get delivered to me recently, and so I've always been,
crazy.
I've always been an appreciative person when it comes to as you just saw, when I walked in your space, what's the first thing I did? I looked at your walls, looked at all the art, look at it, because I think that to me is so important, because it's very informative of the space you're in, right? So right here, I feel like when I walked in here, I felt the creative abundance. I felt the youthfulness. I felt the ability to take a joke. I
Yeah.
felt, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
Like
you. I feel you.
I feel those type of things. I don't feel like tight knit. I feel like I can be in here and I can be myself. And I know you intentionally designed this, whether it was subconscious or, you know, consciously, but it produced that for me. And it's dope that we're having this conversation. But that's one of the first things that I always do when I walk into a space is I've always been like that. I just wanted to see, because I used to be into vintage. I still am, but I'm saying like one of the first obsessions that I had when it comes to looking at walls when I walk in is vintage pictures, bro.
Right.
I love vintage pictures. And
so you liked the Sammy Davis Jr. and the Quincy Jones and
I ain't see that. I ain't see that.
So that wall was lined with need to spend more time in it with all the people I like just respect. So there's a Sammy Davis Jr. portrait. There's a Quincy Jones, Ray Charles.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
See, I liked that David Ruffin over there. I ain't seen that joint.
Without David Ruffin, y'all ain't nothing.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that's just something that still to this day, bro, I don't know what it is about vintage pictures that does something for me. And now that we're talking about this, maybe this is a discovery in this moment, but maybe it's our quest of trying to find out where we come from. That unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the closest thing I have to see what my lineage looks like, or what we used to.
I see what you're getting at.
You know what I mean? Like what was life like back in the day for our ancestors and things like that. So I just like seeing how they expressed themselves. What did it look like back then? Yeah. Like how they respected themselves, like seeing them in them dope ass suits and
even at like 15.
Bro, like, they went out the house and they was in like full, and now we get to walk around in pajamas and throwing, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff didn't happen. So it makes me appreciate and feel like I was able to, I'm able to teleport or tap into, you know, how they were there. Cause I'm big into energy. And so, yeah.
And it sounds like you're a student too.
Man.
Of like, cause that's the thing. I'm big on nostalgia.
Yeah.
So like for me,
that's exactly
that's even why I keep the sidekicks and the Game Boys and I have all my old systems from when I was growing up.
Much
you know,
respect.
I love the figurines, all those kinds of things, man. Cause like it's comfortable. It's comforting because it reminds you of a different time, and then on top of that, it reminds me of like you said, eras in time. Yeah. And so then, what was going on in these times?
Yes.
Because if you look
eras in time, I like that, bro.
Yeah. Because if you look at the past, bro, like you see where things are headed or where they're gonna circle back to.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got
like niggas will be wearing suits again. Yeah. Like we're just in this era. Ooh. I don't know how old we'll be when that's happening, but niggas will be wearing suits again.
Are you gonna wear a suit?
What? I said niggas. Bro. I'm not niggas. I'm Maestro.
All right, bro, but I'm thinking about it, bro. I was just telling my wife literally, and I ain't even, bro, this is crazy that we talking about this because I didn't even think about it as we're going to probably transition and recycle back into that. I didn't even think about that.
Niggas was wearing half a suit. They was wearing the blazer in the era. They was wearing the blazer with the hat.
Like the whole joint. And dang, and I was just telling my wife, I was like, man, I think because this year I go in through phases. I like that when I moved out here in LA and I started meeting different cultures and different things. And I learned that a lot of wealthy people, they wear the same thing. Mm-hmm. They wear like...
It's like a uniform.
Yeah, because allegedly, one of the things that I heard is like, they don't want to think about what they have to put on. Like they just wear the same, like, you know, whatever it is that they have about. I love it. Mm-hmm. They have about 4 or 5 options of it, you know, the same thing. And I like that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because I go into caves, which I know you do too. When you go into your creative zone, I go into caves. And so you can see me. I mean, I might wear the same sweatshirt, the same, you know what I mean? Like 2 or 3 days in a row. I'll take showers and all of that. But I'm just saying, like, wearing that, I don't want to think about it. I'm just waking up to create. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here.
I'm locked in. I'm focused.
Because I don't go outside to seek approval on my fashion or anything like that. That's just never been my thing. I'm not saying anybody else nothing. My wife is into fashion. She's big on that. We disconnect on that because I don't care about that like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I am in that phase where I was like last year after working on a joint with our brother Denzi. I was wearing tracksuits, and so when I came back home, I started buying tracksuits and like sweatsuits and stuff like that because I'm like, man, this is pretty easy. Like all I got to do, and you still fly. Like
it's already coordinated.
It's all there. It's all love. You know what I mean? I don't got to think about anything. So I say all of that to say I'm now thinking about and seeing myself transition into wearing suits and stuff again. And I want to see what that's like, bro. Like I want to see what that I want to see what that inform, because I know what this has been informing me. Because again, I'm gonna shut up after this.
No.
As actors, I don't know how. Let me ask you. So in class, would you, when it came time for scenes, would you ever dress for the scene? Like,
it's crazy. I've never
in class.
I've never taken classes.
I was literally about to say, did you ever take a class?
Yeah, I never took classes, but I will say this: going to auditions,
okay,
I wouldn't go too far. Like I told a story recently on the podcast. Yeah. There was one actor for some TV show, which is my boy Malcolm Barrett. He ended up getting it.
Okay.
But I told him I was there for the audition.
Right.
And I was auditioning.
Right.
And some guy showed up in like full 1940s garb with a bowler derby hat.
All in.
All in. But it wasn't the one to do that for. It was.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Because it was like network TV, not that. It wasn't like
it.
the like HBO version of the whatever. But I say that to say, I do believe that it helps and that it is important to go all in like that sometimes. Yeah. If I don't have the shit, I'm not going out to get it. Type deal. Unless it's like call back.
Got it.
And it's like, no, they
100%.
really like you. But then at that point, I might be like, I'm going to wear shit I wore the first time.
Right. Because it would
if
be
it ain't
very
broke,
noticeable. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, yeah, Buddy hungry. Buddy hungry for this joint. He need this check.
They be looking at you crazy.
Straight up, though.
This nigga buy cowboy boots?
He had on sneakers in the last one.
What happened to the Jordans? We liked it.
Straight up, though, man. So I don't know, man. I say that to say I want to see what that informs. Because for me, sometimes when I was in acting classes when I moved out to LA, when I was leaving Florida, I was in acting classes. And so because I didn't have an experience, like I think it's personally, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, so I be thinking it's dope. I was just saying this to Denzi. Me and Denzi, he was on my podcast, and I was telling him, man, I admire the fact that you guys were able to be child actors. Like, knowing that y'all were able to audition as kids, and have an opportunity to be on TV, and like y'all could be on TV while y'all in school. Like, to me, just imagine if this was like the social media era and y'all was out here and you was on The Wire. Just imagine what that would have been like, bro. I be thinking about stuff like that all the time because to me, that's only a fantasy because I was from Kansas City, Missouri. So we didn't have.
I see what you're saying,
bro.
So it was
audition?
Yeah.
Come on. You
got to go to Chicago.
Or you were doing some kind of infomercial type of joint. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing that
Call
you was going to get
today.
You know what I mean? You wasn't going to get no social currency off of that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I thought that was dope. So you had that long path, man. To me, that's just mind blowing. I can't even imagine that. And so I can only imagine. And so out here, I was like, man, I got to go hard. Like, one thing about me, when I put my mind on something, I'm all in. Right. Like, whenever I commit to something, I'm all in. So I went all in. Like, I was taking 2 and 3 classes at a time. Yeah. Going to class 4 days out of the week, like helping other actors that are like going out auditioning 8 times a week, reading and putting them on tape. Like, I treated it like it was a master's class because I was like, yo, I'm going up against cats.
And I could learn something while I'm putting you on tape.
It was beautiful. I was getting the reps in, bro, because I had the blessing to play basketball beforehand. So I know what it's like. You got to go in there and get them shots up in the gym. You got to go and get those shots up so you can now, you know what I mean, be out here and be free enough to play on the court. And so it's the same concept behind the screen. And I don't know, I just put in that work and everything. So when I would go into those classes and I'll do certain scenes, I remember one day wearing a suit and it just changed the whole energy of the performance because that suit just gave a different information. It made you feel different. It made you stand straight up.
It's like when we do wear suits, that's what we do.
Bro, I was in that joint crossing my legs.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo.
When your ass at a wedding, you be standing ways you ain't never stood before.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like sitting here checking, doing all of this.
Pocket square and shit.
Good posture, the whole thing. And I was like, dang, this is a different character. This is a whole different experience. And it informed me. So I'm like, man, let me figure out what this artist path, as I keep growing in it, what it'll feel like if I start wearing some suits.
Well, facts, because, I mean, we both know you're taking, especially as a black man, you're taking way more seriously in a suit than anything else.
Well, you know what I mean?
At least, you know what I mean?
Bare minimum,
Bare
right?
minimum, right? And so that's it. I can't argue with that, because also I do feel, it's like anything else, right? You've heard of Jordan Peterson, right? Jordan Peterson, he's like this libertarian. He talks about a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
He's really good. I want to say he's a psychologist.
Okay. Yes.
From
I'm familiar with the name.
Canada.
Yes.
Writes a bunch of books, all that kind of stuff. But one of his things is like you got to clean your room. Like, 'cause he's like, a dirty room is a cluttered mind.
Yes, sir.
And don't get me wrong, my room is dirty right now, but I folded some clothes today. I'm working on it. But it's something to keep in mind.
I agree with you.
You know
bro.
what I mean? It's like,
I agree with you.
It's the energy, and it exudes, like you said. It exudes through everything else. So it's the same way, how you keep your hygiene up is how you will wake up in the morning and do your task at work. And how you will do your task at work is how you will raise your children. And how you will raise your children is how, you know what I mean? It's how seriously you take yourself in anything that you do.
I think you will appreciate this as a producer, to compliment what you said. A recent discovery that I had, because I read the book on, I'm blanking right now. Hold on. The famous producer, I'm gonna be so mad.
Oh, Rick Rubin.
No. He passed. He was with Tribe Called Quest. I'm gonna be so mad. Me and MC. The abstract style.
Wait,
bro, hold on. I'm gonna be so mad because he's iconic, and I had a couple tokes to the I mean.
Tokes to the I mean. Man, we need a couple tokes to the I mean. If you
I gotta stay on point though, bro. Donuts. He got the joint donuts.
Donuts.
Yes, the iconic.
Are you talking about like Jay Dilla?
Yes, bro. Thank you. I'm tripping. Jay Dilla, I apologize. All the Jay Dilla fans, everybody, I apologize. It's just where my life is right now. It just had a blank, man.
No, because I was gonna say Dilla at first, because Jay Dilla. Because I always confuse, and this is terrible as a hip hop head, but like I always confuse with the names Jay Dilla and Pete Rock.
Oh wow!
Because they're always mentioned in such the same breath.
Got it.
So I'll like mix up the songs that each of them made and be like, shit, no, that's P Rock and that's Jay Dilla. But once you know.
Right. And so I happened to come across, again, I was never really, my brother was into producers and things like that. I was never into studying producers.
Right.
I appreciated the music and I just wasn't a student to that aspect. But I was familiar with Jay Dilla's work. But I create with music and everything. And so, like, I think it was 2 years ago, one of the songs from Donuts had came on, and it had informed me so much in my art. And I remember calling Denzi and my boy MC, and I'm like, bro, how come neither one of y'all told me about how dope the Jay Dilla was, bro? And the reason why is because I felt like he was a great example of what my art was in the aspect of intentional abstract. And I didn't find out about it until I read Dilla Time, and there was a insert that Questlove talked about when he was first meeting Jay Dilla, and the first time he went into his crib, he was blown away. And I'm paraphrasing everything, but he was blown away because it was extremely organized and spotless. And if you look at if you take him for his work, it's so abstract. So he thought that it was potentially going to be some like abstract, but he was like, yo, he wakes up early and he cleans his place and he's meticulous about every
And that's
detail.
the word. I was literally going to say meticulous.
And they said that about
the way he samples, though, is meticulous. And that makes, bro, like Dilla, one of the things, because, you know, I'm a producer.
That's what I was about to say. I know you appreciate this.
Bro, no, like the way he would sample, Dilla would sample 2, 3, 4, 5 different songs
Crazy.
in one, but make a melodic phrase that worked. And then with the drum, like his sample technique, people can't sample the way Jay Dilla sampled because it was so, even now, it was so unorthodox the way he did it. But when you saying this, I'm even thinking, I'm like, well, it makes complete sense because he's meticulous. Because I know, like, there's some producers who are, and they, you know, still make fire records, still great records, but they chop a little sloppy, but that might be their style. Or they, you know, they're meticulous about chopping up one record. And that's one thing, you know, like, even like Premiere is like cool like that. But no, like, he would blend so many things to where they were unrecognizable. And like you said, abstract.
And created his own timing, bro.
His own timing and his own musical, like, wall of sound. Like, you know what I mean? He created his own phrases, his own musical phrases. And it's just like, man.
And so when I heard that, I was like, wow, it downloaded for me. This makes sense. I have abstract intentional work as well. And he does a great job of making sure, even though he may go out of space to create, that he keeps, and this is how I perceived it. I don't know if this was his intention, but he still keeps even inside clean and organized and keep the outside, his energy and his space clean and organized so he can go outer space and then still have that still groundedness and that meticulous order that only makes sense to him. And he was able to translate. And so I don't know. I just thought that was so dope. And I like that creativity can transition and transform in different forms in the creative aspect and still be able to be recognized, if that makes any sense.
No,
bro.
that makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's for real, bro. I don't know how did we get there?
No, well, we were talking about
because I want to make sure we stay on topic.
We were saying about rooms getting. Bro,
just,
we can go wherever.
You know
There's
what I
no
mean?
topics.
But yeah, it was about the organized room because you was like, if you are messy all around.
And that's even what brought me to what you were saying. It's like, like I said, he sampled in the way that he lived. You know what I mean? And that's a different. Even just like, I noticed like a lot of the people who are even great at finding samples. They're patient people. Because you know how many records they listen to? And you know how much of a record they'll listen to? And because like a lot of, for example, even Kanye samples, some of those samples don't come in until like 2 minutes into the song. And it's just, because you know, the old records, one part will just do one thing and you're like, yo, that's crazy. I don't need this other 4 minutes and 52 seconds, but this shit's crazy. But like, especially before Spotify and shit, so we're talking before what, 2013, 12? Bro, like you were listening to music.
No question.
Man, you had to do this all day.
I got a question for you. In your music, you sample, right?
Yes.
A little bit?
Okay. I do in a lot of like beats I'll make and things like that. I don't really sample when it comes to things I want to release, only because I know it's a headache. Okay. So if it were to do numbers, it's like someone's going to come after you. You know?
But in the ideal situation where
I love it. When I'm on my MPC and stuff, like even when I do just like the videos or things like that, I'll try to find something cool to sample it because like it doesn't matter on Instagram and I'm going to flip it. But if it's something I'm going to put out, it's like, okay, Outkast is going to come after me at some point. Or if they don't, it didn't do shit.
So my question to you, I remember you saying you didn't go to acting school.
No, I didn't.
So you're obviously protecting your creativity.
What you mean?
As an actor. Is that why you didn't go to school?
No.
You still go, you get coached.
I started so young.
That you did.
that, it was basically everything you said. I was thinking this too when you were saying this, and now this perfect came back around. Everything you said, I was like, oh, but it's funny. Me and Denzel got the same reps in, but just in a different way.
Correct.
And that's what it was. So It's like, think of it this way.
Exactly.
The way you were gunning it, and I'm doing self-tapes, blah, blah, da, 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 blah. With me, it's like, okay, they might not have always been directed in the same way, or I might not have been learning from other actors. But I've been shooting self-tapes since I was 5.
Right.
6.
That's crazy.
So regardless, not saying I've mastered it, or, I'd probably be on some shit right now.
Nah,
but still, it's just the fact of, it is a skill. I've been walking into rooms to audition since I was that old. So a lot of things I learned, like I said, just on-job training, or I broke them down differently. So there's certain things I've seen actors do on set that then I've adopted. That's
what I was going to ask. Do you ever sample as an actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, all the time.
Got it.
Even my style of
that's dope.
Acting in my mind, I definitely think more like a musician.
Okay.
Or as like a producer.
Right.
But I think overall, I take that back. I don't think more like a musician or actor. I think like a producer. Okay. So I think like whether it is music or it is film. Okay. I can see if I am given the right pieces to understand what the fuck, like I think this is why some auditions don't go well, because sometimes I'm not given all the pieces. So I don't know the world you're trying to build, so I play it wrong. Because this fucking breakdown that you just gave me that says, it could be any ethnicity or gender. I was like, this doesn't help me. You know what I mean? Whereas it's like, if you give me specifics and you told me what the tone of something is, oh, I know how, because I can see it. Got it. I can, even sometimes I'll even look and I'll be like, okay, I don't identify really with this character. Either who do I know like this, or who have I seen on TV play this character? Ooh, I liked when blah, blah, blah played the guy. Okay. And then there's a network TV version of this, and then there's a cable TV version of this. Right. And then there's a movie version of this, and then there's an indie movie version of this. Which one do you want? Right. And so I look at it that way. Right. Because I know at the end of the day, the creative who made it wants the performance and wants that, right? Got it. You're right. They're 100%. Never going to be able to put that out, though, if they don't get the money from. And whoever got the money has the producer brain. Right. They don't have the art brain. I get what you feel me? They might have a little bit of art brain. Right. Like, I'm a prime example of that. I definitely got artistic brain. Right. But I also have done it so long, I know when to say, okay, this is artistic, but that ain't, Right. We talking about, okay, there's, like I said, there's an HBO way to play, whoop, whoop, whoop. Right. And then there's an NBC way to play that same character. Got it. You know what I mean? There's Oz, and then there's Prison Break, nigga. 100%. You feel me? Nah, and I get it. Two completely different tones. Yeah. And so it's knowing that, and then I think just doing your homework on, I watch a lot of stuff. So like the same way that you were saying, dope. Like sampling. 100%. You listening to a lot of music? I was talking to my girl the other day. She's like, "Oh man, she's like, man, you've seen everything, right? Like on Netflix or she's like, damn, you saw this too?" And I'm like, yeah, because I just watch stuff. Now I'm harsher on stuff, right? And I'm quick to get out if I'm like, 15 minutes in, I know this some bullshit. Right, I'm out. Right. But if I can get through it or I enjoy it, it's like, okay, there's something I'm downloading here. Right. Like you said, and I like that word. I'm downloading something from this, or I'm watching somebody in this and I'm going, I'll even sometimes sit and watch something and say the lines after they say it. And then, or have the closed captions on, right? And say the lines with them. And and then when you're watching something good, every once in a while, you'll say the line how you would say it, and that nigga says it differently, and you go, oh. Then is a better choice. Say he's okay. That's all about sometimes. I'm glad you hit that right quick, because a lot of people will discredit their choice because that's the choice that got booked. Oh, okay. So you see what I'm saying? But then once again, producer brain, you got to realize what the fuck you watching to. I get it, but what are you watching? Right. Because here's the difference. If you're watching. It's like, what do they say? Don't take advice from anyone who hasn't like gone where where you're trying to go. Like, right? Yeah, if I'm watching somebody who I know seasoned, right, and I like their performances, right, and then they do it, sometimes I go, oh, okay, yeah, damn, that is a little bit better. Right. Or sometimes producer brain, you watch it and you go, oh, I wouldn't have said it like that, but you know what? That was a better network answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the tone of what we're watching though, and 100%. That was better for that. But then sometimes you watch stuff and you be like, oh, nah, that was hell no. That was not the move.
Right.
But if I'm saying that, generally speaking, though, too, it's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. And so actually that reminds me, I never answered your original question. So from when I got delivered, when I moved out here to LA, I finally moved into my first apartment where I'm like by myself. Uh-huh. And so after a couple years, I moved out here with my close friend. But then once I got my apartment by myself, my goal was to fill up my walls with the energy that I wanted to come home with every day. But I didn't know, because I was like, man, I could go to Ross, I could go to TJ Maxx, I could go to Walmart and get some standard art and stuff up there and put on some walls, put some posters, whatever. And I'm like, man, but that's somebody else's creativity. I want to start fresh. I want to start new. I want to produce my own energy in my space to where when I come in, I feel abundant, I feel creative, I feel healthy, I feel all of these things. And I want to see my creations up on the wall or somebody that I know. And so my goal was just to fill up my walls, and if people didn't like it, then I could just kick them out. Like, yo, you can get out of my crib. You know what I mean? It's my space. And so it became something that I started building these series on my wall. And so I remember one moment I had, and I brought my now wife out into the living room. I'm like, man, babe, there's something to this. I don't know how to explain this, but these are like, there's something. I feel like there's a journey. This is going to be worth something one day. Literally. Call it arrogant, call it whatever you want. It was just what I naturally felt and I could translate in that moment. So I knew it was something to it, but then I got blessed probably like 3-4 years later when I went to a dinner and I met this big collector at the dinner. And then a friend of mine who introduced me and I was there with had told him, you should show him some of your art. And I showed him some of my art and he loved it. And so he gave me this invitation to come see his collection and stuff. I met his curator and everything. And from that day, I was like, man, there's something to this. Mm. God is delivering something. And so I just went full speed from that day. And then I got blessed because the pandemic happened. So everybody was sitting down. Everybody was sitting still. I wasn't auditioning for the roles or anything, or I wasn't busy. And so it gave me a chance to have 2 years of a master's class to find out who I was as an artist, why God delivered this to me, what is it that I was called to say, all of those things. Because again, when I go in, I go all the way in, you know what I mean? And so I didn't want to take this lightly. I didn't want to play with this. And so I had to figure out what it was that I was called to do in this space. And I got blessed because it was at a time where I had the ability to take the time to get to know this.
But so many people didn't do that during the pandemic, man.
Bro.
Like, all I did.
No way.
This room became the way this room is because of the pandemic. Like, I instantly, that's when I started just collecting more keyboards. That's when I started. But I started doing these things and like locking in and just being creative, learning new instruments, trying to do the things that, you know, when the world started back up, we feel like we're a little too busy to do.
Right.
And yeah, it's amazing when I hear people who actually took the time to do that and sat themselves down. Like, you put in your 10,000 hours during that time because you said, this is a gift.
Bro, there's no other time that I've ever heard of where you had 2 years where everybody was neutral. Everybody was on pause besides the people who are distributing the COVID test and COVID vaccine and all that. They were working.
Pfizer.
You know
everybody
what I mean?
else
They were working.
on pause.
But we were all on pause, bro. And I'm like, me and my wife, shout out to my wife because my queen allowed me to tear up our house during that time and build this collection and allowed me to transition, supported me. I ain't gonna say allowed, but supported me in this journey of this art during that time, because we wrecked our house up and transitioned the whole place, allowing or supporting me on creating this space. But we made a
made
vow.
The whole studio. Yeah.
But we made a vow, bro. We're gonna come out of this pandemic with momentum. Mm-hmm. If you don't have momentum during this time, you didn't use that time personally, is what I said to myself. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking about anybody else. Everybody had their own experience, man. I got blessed that I had a partner to endure that time with. Not everybody had the same gift, bro. A lot of people were lonely during that time. And so, we tap in with as many people as we can. But I got blessed, bro. And I was like, with this blessing, I gotta come out with momentum, or what was this blessing for? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that was a gift that I believe the universe and God gifted me, and I don't take it lightly. So that's why I go so hard in what I do, because I know it was all divine, man. And it's a bigger story told through what both you and I are doing. And I just love being a vessel of this time in this translation, and finally finding a voice of where can't a director tell me that I didn't make the right choice? Can a producer tell me? A coach can't tell me I didn't make the right choice on the court. Nobody can tell me this, because everything that I'm being delivered and I'm translating is from the universe, and I'm very protective of that. And so this has been the most gratifying, the most biggest blessing that I have received when it comes in terms of career and whatever the word you attach to purpose. This has been the biggest blessing on that, besides, again, meeting my queen, bruv.
Yeah, but it's funny. Me and Cleo, Cleo Thomas from Holes.
And my dog Mister. I got to give my man Mister. My man Mister is the man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, my boy Cleo Thomas. We were talking about the same thing, and like he was in Holes when he was younger, Zero, and like he's done tours with Bow Wow, all this kind of stuff. He's walking tall with the right. He's been working same like Denzel and myself, working his entire life.
That's dope.
And we were just saying, it's amazing though how like now we have the power. Now he flipped all that. He has an amazing Twitch channel. He has
dope.
he has a real following for the things he does and the content he puts out weekly, but people already knew him. Mm-hmm. He just reactivated him. And guess what he did that? During the pandemic.
Wow.
And he told me, he said he literally sat there. He said he has the notes. He said he studied Twitch. He sat there. He watched it.
You had no excuse. You had no excuse, bro.
Right?
You had no excuse. That's amazing, man. That's dope. Shout out to, what's his name?
Cleo Thomas.
Shout out to Cleo, man.
And bro, he said the same thing, and it makes complete sense. Like, you had to take that time to build something. And I know even for myself, this is why like I always say, I love film, but it takes so many people, and it takes so many people to decide. Whereas that's one thing I've always loved about music. It is what it is. Right. You know what I mean? You can either put it out, you can do whatever, and then even starting something like this and moving into this space, it's like, no, like it's came from a game when these things weren't available. That's how I look at it. It's like, growing up in it, there were just certain things you had to play ball a certain way. That's what it had to be. Mm-hmm. Now everyone has their own channel. Right. Just like you said, like how you're like, no, this is me.
Right.
I don't have to. I run this shit the way I want to run it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Opposed to a casting director feeling like, oh, you didn't think how many middlemen you got to talk to get a check in that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's my thing. I'm like, I believe.
Yeah,
I can make as much money as I will doing that, building my own thing, and probably will make more. And
I don't disagree.
And then guess what? And then they'll come right on over and they'll say, "Hey, we gotta have you in because you built something, and we want to use your IP to build our thing."
I'm already sending love to something that you've already said, man. You said your producer brain. I'm going to send love to your producer brain, man. May that producer brain have favor. May it continue to be aligned and be guided, because we need you to win, bro. We need you to be in that position, because now you can create and get a return on your investment.
Then that's the goal.
What we have to have. More people, especially minorities,
like
getting a return on their investments and not just getting
creative. I mean, don't get me wrong. The creativity is beautiful, but we need returns on our creative investment. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, because we know how this game goes.
Right.
It's not going to be immediate.
Right.
But if you put the time in,
that's
you got to find a way to flip it.
No
you know
question.
what I mean? And find a way to make that monetize, because the beauty of it is, just like art, just like anything else, once it's in the stratosphere and people can adopt it,
right.
It lives on, and there's a lot of ways to get residuals and royalties off of the things that you create. Intellectual
100%.
property is a motherfucker, man.
I literally have shifted my whole brain when it comes to that, and that's why I'm championing even hearing yours is I don't see myself as an actor in this game anymore, man. I refuse to see myself as an actor in this game. I see myself as a producer who is an artist on screen sometimes, who licenses or loans out his entity to be an artist on screen. But I have to think like a producer. I have to shift my mind into, okay, at some point when we get profits on whichever stream that we invest in, reinvest.
Right.
And if I can reinvest as a producer and can't nobody tell me nothing, and we go and create what we want,
with our taste and our
bro, that's the only way I want to see it, man. We got limited time on earth, bro. That's the only way I want to see it. And so, because the producer that is the producer and the director that is the director, the investor that is the investor, they see themselves as that.
Yeah.
They think it. They don't see themselves as nothing else. They never even.
They don't split it.
Bro, they not thinking about no day rate check as an actor.
Hell no.
They ain't thinking about that. Bro, they thinking about, if I'm going to invest $50K, I might make $500K or $1 million. They thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it.
Bro,
I completely get it.
We
sitting
wasting
here
gas trying to go get a job that odds are low.
And again, I'm not knocking anyone in that perspective. I said I had to shift mine because I didn't feel comfortable anymore in that thinking.
Well, the problem is, I think just where we're at now too. It's just like it's like the old conventional artists, like in like music artists. Like that don't work no more like how it used to. You know, like you don't just get like, oh, the label signed me, I sit around, I don't do anything. I just wait and I wait till the songs get written and then I go in there, I have an amazing voice.
Right.
That shit don't fly no more.
Right.
You making some TikToks, you taking some pictures somewhere, you doing some blah, blah, blah. You don't like just to get your career started.
Right.
Like, you have to have a producer brain, at least whether it's at this social media or whether it's at this music or whether it's at this making films. Yeah. Because the problem is everyone can go create. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to pick the best out of all the people who are out creating. Mm-hmm. If you're sitting waiting on us to call you, that's not going to work, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to go get the more poppin' version of you, of somebody who's already built a platform. Right. And then we're going to pay them more money than you, because they've been over here building this platform and not trying to get our attention the whole time. Wow. Hey, it's me. Hey, I just sent that tape again. Exactly. Yeah, you remember I came in last year? No, nigga. But guess what? I'd remember you if you found a way to get a following. Yep. And then it would be, hey, why don't we just put an offer out? I mean, what? It's 10 lines. He can do that.
It's a whole different conversation.
Whole different conversation.
It's a whole different conversation.
And that's where you want to be.
There's no question. That's what redirects a warrior or, a hungry person. That's what redirects that feeling. Yeah. That feeling right there is like, oh man, nah, this don't feel good. I got to find a way. I got to, it just don't feel right. And so I get what you're saying. No, bro. I had the same revelation. That's dope, man.
So wait, so just to back it up.
Yep.
So you just said, I want to fill my walls up and stuff. Yeah. And then did you go to YouTube and be like, how do I start painting?
So to answer your question, bro, I don't know how long this is going to be. This is just the space that I've been since being delivered this path. I'm big into studying comedy and stuff too. I love stand-up and I love, what I mean? Comedy and music is like my worlds. I love it. And so a lot of comedians that I know and actors, I would hear them say, hey, I don't really listen to a person's set beforehand or anything like that. I can't hear someone's set because I don't want to steal from them. I don't want to subconsciously steal one of their jokes or take one of their punchlines or whatever the case may be. And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, dang, but artists steal all the time. But they wanted to protect it to not have what they're being translated organically and uniquely from their own perspectives tainted.
Right.
To me, that kind of registered, bro, because I was like, man, this is a interesting, unique delivery that I know has some kind of abundant utility through it. And so I want to protect it and speak in my own voice. And I really don't want to go beyond my initial. So the story, the blueprint that gave me wings was, shout out to my friend, a lover heart, lover spirit, Tara Holt. She's an actress friend of mine. And we were studying, we was in class and everything. And she was like, I was studying characters. And she was like, man, you should watch this documentary over this artist named Basquiat. And she was like, I think you're going to like it. And sure enough, I hadn't watched it yet. She was like, have you watched it yet? Have you? There it is.
Are you kidding me?
And so, bro, I heard of the name, but I didn't know his story. I didn't know who he was. And so she was like, Darnell, you have to watch this. And so I watch it, bro. My life changed immediately. I saw the blueprint. I thought, because this whole time I didn't explore art because I thought you had to go to art school. I thought you had to go through some type of, get a master's and then go into this like museum route, this resident, all this whole route that sounded so far-fetched from me because I hadn't seen no example of no black artist that was young in Kansas City taking care of his family, doing all of that. I ain't see no mess like that. And so
you didn't see it in acting either, though. But guess what? Your ass figured it out.
There's no question. There's no question. But I was sitting here. I had a vehicle into acting though. It was modeling. I got discovered as a model first, so which I didn't even know I could do, but that was simple enough. You got in front of a camera, put on this big ass cheesy smile, and you sell the clothes. You do what you got to do. Run. I was an athlete. I was doing athletic campaigns, doing all of that. But I was blessed. You talking about? Have you ever read the book Outliers?
Yeah.
Okay, so blessed to start this path in South Florida because Miami and those casting offices down there. You could be going in for a modeling audition, and then at the same time in another room over there is some commercials going on, commercial casting or TV casting going on. So I'm just popping over there acting like I was supposed to be there. Right. And I end up meeting a couple casting directors that was for commercials, and I was like, hey, I would love to audition, and I got, love, shout out to Lori Wyman, Brad Davis, and I can't think of the other lady's name. I'm so sorry, but who saw something in me and let me, jump on some auditions and ended up finding a pathway into commercials and then into TV. And so that's how I got into acting because it was a byproduct of being in the same space with modeling. You know what I mean? And then my modeling agency, shout out to Boca Talent down in South Florida. They represent at that time, and maybe they still do, models and actors for TV and film and all of that. And so it was a natural bridge, and it gave me the ability to build my resume in a smaller pond, and then be able to use that because I did a TV show down there in Magic City, and then the writer on there told me, hey man, you gotta move out here to LA if you're really trying to get these bigger roles and everything, or else you're gonna be stuck down here. And so I got blessed, man, all divine timing, it all worked out. But when it came to this acting, I was like, yo, this dude did not go to school. He created what he wanted to. I'm a grown kid. I'm a big kid. This dude creates work that looked like a grown kid did it. And it was genius. The breakdown, the science behind it, the stories behind it was smarter than most people ever, bro. Like his stuff, he was out of this world, bro. And he was able to create what he wanted, and it wasn't initially received. And he was so rebellious. And that's how I am. I'm a rebel.
Yeah.
But I'm a nice guy, but I'm a rebel. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, yo, this dude just gave me the blueprint.
Right.
And that was the wings that I needed. And I haven't looked back ever since. So, I mean, after I filled up those walls and then I had that, like I said, I had that blessing of a conversation and a discovery, man. I just dedicated that time and I opened up my art business at February of 2022. And it's been an amazing journey to be where I'm at right now, man. And it's, we only getting started. The hustle is crazy. We only getting started. We doing so many amazing, blessed things, man. And I'm just so excited to be delivered this journey, man, because I know it's going to really, really impact a lot of people and impact me and set up something for the next generation, which is all about, man, in my opinion.
No, 100%. 100%. You gotta make sure the next generation is doing better than you.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep it going.
Man, I had a lot of people who helped me. I had a lot of big bros who, helped me along this way. And so I got to pay that forward and make sure that I set up the next generation, be a big bro for the next generation.
So how did you get to Florida? So from Kansas City, when did you move to Florida?
Basketball. That's why I said I had 3 different journeys,
Gotcha.
bro.
So let's talk about the basketball though.
Yeah.
So early Kansas City, did your parents put you in sports or?
Well, my mom, she did. I'm not going to take that away from her. She definitely, and my stepdad, rest in heaven, Diz, he was a basketball player, so he had me, we go out and we play basketball all the time, and we'll work on this jumper. And it was the first installment of like how old heads tell these far-fetched stories, bro. Oh my God. My stepdad, if I didn't get up and go and put up 100 shots or something like that, he'd be like, man, don't you know I had to shovel snow for a mile? And then I had to shoot with my fingers was frozen and I was still putting up shots and I ain't had, man, all these crazy stories, and it made you just like not feel comfortable in the bed no more. Like, yo, you a poo putt. You just laying around. You know what I mean?
I'm this lazy.
You know what I mean? And so I used to go and put in that work and everything with him, and my mom would definitely support and drop me off at practices and all of that and come to all of my games. But it was a time where it made sense as a journey. This is why I always give my uncle Aunt credit, because as a journey, he sat me down and he's like, yo, you got to get a college degree. And I wouldn't even think about that, bro. My first love was entertainment. And I thought that me and my brother, because I got an older brother, and they used to call us the Wayans brothers all the time. And so I literally, in my small town thinking, thought that everybody was talking about these Kirkwood brothers, and some directors was going to find us and say that they want to do a show, bro. Like I literally thought this. Yeah. So I didn't even think about college or anything like that, because I was like, man, I'm going to be an actor. I'm headed to Hollywood. I didn't know how it was going to happen or anything. This is my real thoughts, bro. And then my uncle sat me down and had me, getting more realistic. And he was like, yo, you got to go to college and get yourself a degree, because what if entertainment don't work out? What if basketball don't work out or whatever? Just go at least get yourself a degree. And I didn't want my mom to have to pay for college, put her in that situation. So, bro, I made it a immediate decision later. And it was probably like my 9th grade year where I got into basketball. And so I was a late bloomer. Like everybody else had already played in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I was just playing like, at parks and everything, but I never played organized ball. And my cousin put me on like his travel team. And I just made sure, since I was behind the game again, how I feel behind the game, I worked harder than everybody. There's anybody on the back that grew up playing basketball with me can always say, when it came to practices and everything, I worked harder than everybody. I was the first one diving on the floor. I was a defender. I didn't have all the skill set, so I was behind. So I was like, at least I can have control on my effort. So wasn't nobody gonna beat me to no loose balls. Wasn't nobody gonna out rebound me. And if you didn't box me out, I was dunking on you. Like that's how, like straight out, because I didn't have no shot at that point. So I was like, if I'm gonna get a scholarship, it's gonna be off a straight hustle and just finding a way to find a way,
closing the gap,
man. Yeah. And I'm still on that same journey of finding a way, man. So that's where that started, and I ended up getting a scholarship to a junior college first, Otero Junior College in Colorado, and then I got offered some D1 scholarships, but then I got injured right before I was about to sign my letter of intent. And then they reneged once they found out I got injured, which was a blessing in disguise, man, because this school down in South Florida, Lynn University, finally reached out to me and was like, hey, I heard that you're still available. We saw you at this camp and we wanted you, but, you know, you wasn't able to be on our radar. And so now you are. If you're interested, come down here, you know. And so I went on a visit, man, and it was like 2 or 3 miles from the beach. My first time seeing the beach and everything.
Wow.
And so, but the interesting fact that they gave me that stood out to me was it was the second richest city per capita.
Right.
So I recall my uncle's conversation where he said, yo, make sure that you at least set up your life and make sure that if something doesn't work out on the basketball and the entertainment, you at least got business knowledge and business relationships to build on so you can be an entrepreneur. Because I had already told him I didn't want a job. I never felt comfortable at a 9-to-5. That scares me. No. And some people, it's security for them, and I understand.
But the way you think, I mean, even just hearing your story about basketball, hearing your story about art, the way you work, same with myself, the way you work and the way you think, it's not conducive for someone like you. Because I will say,
and again, no shot to anybody.
No, but it's a different thought process. Right. Some people want to know what the fuck they're supposed to do, and then go do it. And there's a system in place, and then I do this, I get here. I agree. It takes a load off your mind, and then you can focus on your job, 100%. Especially if you have a lot of responsibilities. 100%. It makes sense. 100%. But if you're not one of those people who just can fit in somebody else's system, if you're not the kind of person, you have to take matters into your own hands. And you've already same with me, doing entertainment my whole life. You come from a place where it's like, okay, it's still a form of entertainment. You were in entertainment hooping. Yes, sports, but it's sports entertainment. You know, like you knew this is what you wanted to be a part of in any form or fashion. You know, and like I think that's, it just wouldn't work for you. And your brain don't work that way.
Nah. And always with love, like I said, I'm a rebel, so I don't like people telling me what to do. So I chose a path that's a harder path that allows me not to have to be in that position. Now I can collaborate on discoveries instead of being told that this is the only way this works, and this is the only way to do this, and this is the only way to think about it, or you're wrong, or you're right. I don't work well in those type of systems. So it is what it is, man. So and so that's how I got in. I mean, I arrived in Florida, man, and sure enough, you know, just focusing on that. I mean, having that fact ring a bell, it ended up allowing me to build some of the best relationships I've ever built was down there, man. And I'm so grateful. South Florida is like a second home to me, and I'm thankful that the divine universe aligned that. Because if I didn't get injured, I was either going to be in Minnesota, Albany, New York, or Colorado, or Wichita, in Wichita, Kansas. And so, and Louisiana.
Them places sound terrible.
I mean,
Albany, you would have been, how far is Albany from New York City?
It's a couple hours, I believe.
Oh, okay, so that would have been tough.
Yeah, and
Colorado would have been
cold.
cool.
Colorado was dope, man.
Colorado would have been cool.
I liked Colorado, but it was just something.
But Florida's way better.
But that's just how my journey works, man. Yeah. I know when I hear something, and I know when something is aligned, and I receive it and I apply it, and that's I've been doing that since I was a kid, and so that's how this journey has worked for me, and that's how I ended up in Florida, man, is through basketball and getting a scholarship and getting recruited from Lynn University. So that's where
amazing,
I was at,
bro.
and then
that's crazy. I love that, but it's like checkpoints. It's like a fucking quest. It's like, okay, you got to go through these missions. That'll get you here because then you'll meet these people who, they might be inactive for about the next 6 to 8 years, but it'll matter at some point. Then while you're doing that, they're not ready to help you yet, but it's because you're still learning this part of the quest, and then and it just keeps going and going.
I can't even imagine how I'm here without the checkpoints of like you said, Colorado and Florida, and even Denmark. So that would
how's Denmark come into play?
that's where I went and played overseas basketball. And I played 2 years professionally over in.
So what years was this?
07 to 09.
Okay, 07 to 09.
07 to 09.
So you went from out of college. Did you start getting offers out of college?
Nah, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so I wasn't even getting recruited for real out of college. It's a crazy story. I ain't gonna go into that story. That's another day. But basically, my coach tried to. What he did, interjected, and I ended up having to represent myself and just, so that was crazy, which I can imagine I don't know, have you ever went a time where you didn't have reps?
Oh, and
you were still trying to audition? Were you able to do, okay. So it just imagine the world of a person who does
casting networks and shit, that would be awful.
You know what I mean? So I'm training half of the day to make sure that I'm ready for the opportunity. And then the other half of the day, calling, emailing people overseas, trying to get someone to take a risk on me and go play. And I ended up, partnering with actually one of my teammates from Lynn back home, had a team that needed a player because they were replacing one of their other players. And so like a month or two into the season, I flew over there and finished his contract and then got my own contract the next year. And literally the last game of the season, the last play to win the game, I had a two-hand dunk that tore both of my labrums. We won the game. Last second, tore both of my labrums, and I basically retired. And that's when I was telling you about getting discovered for the modeling. Yeah.
So then you came back to Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was I had gotten offers after that, but I couldn't execute them because I couldn't even lift my arms. And so I was like, you know what?
Christ.
I don't really want to do this no more. Like when it comes to the hustle, the level of effort that you got to put in to stay efficient at that level. And still take care of your body and still try to take care, provide for yourself. It's not an easy path, and it's not something with any kind of guarantees. And I realize the duration of this
That's what
is
I was
short.
going to say. The clock doesn't go along.
And so I'm like, yo, if I'm going to invest in my path, I want to invest in something that's going to be sustained. Because what happened, bro? I had a moment. I was over in Denmark. You don't have a lot of the same channels and everything over there. So the only U.S. Content that you would see on TV would be like Hot in Cleveland. And so I remember, but I had Martin, I had Sanford and Sons, and I had The Cosby Show all on DVDs over there. So I was just
running them
The Office had them joints on rotation, right? And so because it was different, but I remember one day I'm resting because I did get injured and during the season, but it was all good. But I was watching Hot in Cleveland and I saw Betty White. And she was having the time of her life on this episode. And I was like, yo, that is so dope. You're seasoned in this game. And you're still, I think she was in her 80s at this time.
And still getting
and doing what she loves. And still sending this energy that blessed me all the way over in Denmark, bro. And I was like, man, what a gift. And I want to invest in that. I want to invest in a journey that I'm still able to do what I love and bless others until I'm in my 80s. Because at that time, even though I was watching The Cosby Show, Bill Cosby, before all this mess was going on, he was still doing his thing in entertainment and stuff as well, too.
Yeah, he was still doing stand-up.
So influential. And I'm like, yo, this is what I want to do. This is, I want to invest in this path. And then that's when that modeling and everything, came about. And so I just, like I said, went full speed until we got out here to LA.
You have a real alchemist lifestyle. Anything that you
legit though.
Yeah, you set out on that shit. The pieces are provided, but you go put them motherfuckers together.
I pay attention to the universe, though, bro.
You pay attention. Yeah.
I pay attention, and that's what this I'm doing through this whole art. That's what this art is based on. Discoveries along the way. So if I can help highlight people in understanding how the universe speaks to them and help them be aware of it, and then encourage them to receive it, because not all of us are open to receive something that may not be what you want.
What you think you need right now. Yeah.
And if you're open to receiving that and then applying it, and then also take it a step further and find the through line of how it can go through you and help someone else. I feel like if you pay attention to that formula, you'll always be paved the way, because I believe that energy in the universe is supposed to go through. It's not supposed to stop. Right. So if you constantly are finding deliveries that are able to go through you, then it'll continue, because existence has continued up until this point. So what existence needs is to continue. It doesn't want to stop.
Wow.
Think about that, bro. Think about that. Like, if existence has arrogantly been stated to be 4.6 billion years or whatever it is, I mean, one, how could we ever measure that? Because we're humans.
Right.
But if it's been in that, so allegedly, it's been in continuance, so sent for 4.6 billion years. So anything that stops ain't getting no love.
Facts.
Because it needs to continue.
Yeah.
So if you think about this is how I try to think about it. Like, everything that I get delivered, how can it go through me?
Right.
How can it go through me? And then I find the pathway. And it's just been constantly blessing me along this way, bro. And that's why I feel like basketball got taken from me, because it wasn't going through me like it should have, like what I prayed for. Right. I prayed for that, man. I was against all odds to go overseas. And I got that blessing of that delivery, but I don't, just me personally. Other people may feel a different way. Other people may feel like I was impactful or influential or whatever they feel. But me personally, knowing on my own gauge, I realized I didn't do with it what I was supposed to. It was a very selfish experience. And I wanted to indulge, man. I wanted to get that rare experience and see what it's like, man. I was a star over
Denmark.
Bro, I got spoiled. I got spoiled. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I got spoiled to the point where it made me go celibate.
This nigga was David Ruffin.
Denmark showed me love, man. I don't have nothing bad to say about Denmark. Denmark showed me love. All the people in Denmark, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all bless me beyond measure, man. I'm thankful for the experience, for real. That's
great. So what's the culture like in Denmark? Like,
it's different, man. Like, my first day was, I didn't feel like I was going to make it out there, because they dropped me off. My coach had picked me up. They gave me a car, and get dropped off like in the middle center area. And they had said, like, the grocery store is down the street and to the left. And as soon as I walk down, I put my stuff in my room and everything, and I immediately take my, what is the Danish? I forget, kroners or something like that. Kroners. I forget what the currency is called.
Oh, krones. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I took my, money, and I was going down to the grocery store, and the first person that I exchanged, because you know me, bro, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm a social person. Like, that's who and so I'm like, hey, like that. And buddy just looked at me and frowned. And I'm like, dang, that's rude as heck. And so the next person, I was like, let me try this again. And I wave, hey. And they literally flipped me the bird.
Oh, wow.
Like, gave me, and I'm like, yo. So I called my coach, and I'm like, yo, you got to get me out of here, man. These people racist, yo. I just tried, and he started laughing. I was like, bro, this ain't funny. And then he was like, no, you're American.
Yeah.
He's like, you're American. We don't have the same type of interactions over there. They don't understand why you're speaking to them, because they don't know you.
All my Swedish friends and all the people I've known from Sweden or
Sweden, shout out to that. They dope too.
Yeah, no, for sure, especially on the music tip. Yeah. But like Swedish friends, I'll even say Australians are a little better about it. But most, like, I know Europeans and stuff.
Yeah.
They always would say, they'd be like, man, if I get on a plane, because a lot of them were DJs, they're like, I'll get on a plane, and if I sit next to an American, oh, fuck. Yeah. He wants to talk all day. Because they're just like, we don't do that.
Exactly.
We get in, you do you, I'm doing me. We don't need to do this niceties thing.
So I didn't get that disclaimer beforehand.
You like, what's good, man? How you doing? I just want to grab a
Bro, I know you know because you're the same way, bro. When I pulled up with you at Sundance, bro, everywhere we went, what's up, Maestro? What's up? Oh, what's up? Bro, you couldn't sit still, bro. And I'm sitting here like, yo, this dude is a social butterfly. Like, dang, it made me have to take a step back. I'm usually the social guy. I was like, yo, I get to chill. My guy, Maestro. Everybody loving my guy. So
that's funny though, and I'm such an introvert though, really.
Bro, I call it a confused introvert. That's what I call it. I say I'm a confused introvert.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought you was an extrovert that day.
I enjoy going out. No, that's a lie. I enjoy being in, and I enjoy you can call it working, but like creating while I'm in. That I really enjoy, because then also I know I can, same way you said about when you walked in here, I can control my energy. I can control what's going on. I can control what kind of room it is. Yeah. And like you said, and if you don't like it, you can just fucking go. Or you'll want to go anyway. I don't even have to say anything. This isn't your energy. Right. Because it doesn't mesh with mine, you'll be gone. And if it does mesh, you're comfortable. We can have a good time. We can have a conversation. We can play some video, whatever the fuck. But like, fuck, how did I get on that?
Dang, we've been vibing. Confused introvert.
Yeah, because I enjoy my space and my time. I do like being with people, but I like it to be a curated group of people.
Yes.
Just going out to go out, I don't love it. Now, if I put my mind in that, I'm not going to complain. This is what we're doing, but let's make sure the event, like you said, we was out at Sundance, and hell yeah, we at Sundance. There's a reason. Right. There's a reason to be talking to people, jovial. We technically working, but I'm in that headspace.
No question.
Opposed to if you're just like, hey man, it's Friday. Let's just go hit the. What are we gaining here? Are we going for someone we really fuck with? Right. Are we going for, because that's different too. Right, it's Denzel's birthday. Nigga, that's an outing. Right. I'm not going just to be out and then try to holla at some bitches and do I get it. It's cool, but that's not my way of doing things, because I'm also like, based on where I am, like you said, there's a certain energy in that place. Yeah. There's a reason why people go to that place based on the type of people they are who want to be in that place. So what kind of energy do you expect to get when you're at certain types of events?
No doubt, man.
It's, people want to act surprised. It's like, everybody's fake out here. Well, look where you spend your time.
100%. I love the word you use, curated. I definitely curate my time.
You must
curate my time.
Yeah, you must. Yeah, you have to curate your environment. You have to curate your people and your time.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree, bro.
Yeah, man. So before we get out of here, I was going to ask you also what there was something I wanted to ask. Oh, I didn't realize that you did what was the soap opera you were on?
Oh, Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless.
Yeah.
I didn't. Explain. I'm like, this, buddy, your ass you be working, man.
Man, that was another gift, man, because it was more of a nostalgic job for me. So I grew up watching this show with my grandmother and my mom,
I knew you was gonna see your grandma for sure, yeah.
And when I'll be over her house, she'll watch it, and other soap operas. So it was a gang of them. It was like all my children, like all, General Hospital, all of them. And so you'll float from one to the next. But I remember Young and the Restless as a kid. And again, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. So that's a big show in that demographic. And so when I got the opportunity, it was crazy, man, because I had to turn down another job, and I can't even think about which one it was. I had to turn down another job and bet on this job because it was only going to be 5 episodes. It was only going to be 5 episodes. But just, again, how I think, I'm like, yo, y'all see 5 episodes, but I'm going to come in here.
I'm going to shake some shit up.
Because we have the advantage of Twitter giving you like real-time data. So I had to make sure those first, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those first few episodes, Jordan Wild had to come in and at least shake up something and have fans be like, yo, who's Jordan Wild, or say something. And so those 5 episodes, man, I got blessed. It turned into a year and a half of work, you know, and it was a fun experience, man. And it was even doper because at that time my grandmother was alive.
So she got to watch
see, for me, bro, there's not a lot of projects that it's like, yo, this is for the town. You know what I mean? Like, when I saw myself for the first time get on that screen, because I was on the front news of the newspapers, I was doing interviews and everything, and so Kansas City, they was proud, man. We was proud, and so to finally see me jump on that screen, for me, it was so many emotions because again, I was like, one, I never even thought the day that I was that kid that was sitting on the floor watching this with my grandmother that I was going to enter that screen, that same screen. And my grandmother now get to see her little grandbaby who was sitting right here and just activated the faith of God to be on that screen. And then to go on there, man, the town was so amped and it meant the world to me. And so that's a project that was like one of those nostalgic ones because it was like, yo, we did it for the town. And even though it's a soap opera, that's the biggest soap opera, I believe, to date.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to spin that from 5 episodes and make something of it. That's a blessing, man. And I'm thankful for that experience because one thing that I say soap operas taught me as a creative, and you'll understand this as a creative on screen, that even in basketball, if you missed a shot, if you went back on defense and came back on offense, still thinking about that shot you missed, you're not present anymore. It'll potentially spiral you.
Yeah.
And so in soap opera, if you mess up a take, you don't have multiple takes like you do on, network or a film or something like that. They have 5 cameras going at once, 5, 4 multicam. So it ain't like you get to make up that mess up on a tight or a mid or anything like that. You got that one take, you got that rehearsal, and if you barely get a rehearsal, you got the rehearsal and then that take, and then you on because you shooting like sometimes 2 episodes a day. And so it taught me how to not be so precious and be so much in your head on your work. You come in, you prepped and prepared, and you do it, and then you got to move on.
That's what when I was younger doing theater.
Theater so you did theater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's like, bro, I didn't know you had theater in your bed too. That's another.
Raisin in the Sun.
You did that?
Yeah, and then I was Travis, and then I did The Lion King as well. I was like,
bro.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. Oh my gosh, that's dope, bro.
But I won't lie. It is not only is it a lot more wear and tear on your body, but at least I was a kid, But it's also, bro, you got, like you said, you got to keep going. Like there is no, even as a kid, it's just like, you don't stop and be like, wait, no, there ain't no wait. If you mess up the line or you don't know the line, and that's why also working with older actors, like you'll learn things like even in rehearsal. If you're not, you forget the line or something, they say something like, they'll feed you something so you can, look at these fields. So wait, everything the light touches is mine?
Right.
Thank you. You know what I mean? But it's we gotta, it's just like life. It's momentum. You gotta keep going.
100%.
Because once you stop,
100%.
it's a lot harder to restart up
100%.
than it is to just keep going.
So Young and the Restless, like I said, it blessed me, and it was the perfect amount of time on there, man. And I'm thankful for it. And
then you went from there to, and then I know you did some other projects in between, Lou the Dreamer and all that. Yeah. But then, how did Top Gun happen?
Man, I didn't even know that I was auditioning for that. Me and Denzi just talked about it on my podcast. Shout out to Denise Chayman.
They gave you one of those phantom names.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, producer brain, when I don't know what you're going for sometimes, you could go in there and just do something that's not in the vein of what they need.
But you know what's interesting, bro? Do you do commercial auditions?
I should do more of them.
But you do sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, so in commercial auditions, a lot of times when you're working with companies like Apple, they'll have one of those fake names and stuff too.
Oh, I know.
So when I saw the name on the audition, I knew it was some kind of flood, some kind of fake name, but I didn't know for what. You still don't know for what.
Yeah, it could be a whole new plane movie.
You have no idea. So I knew it was at least a fake name.
Right.
But again, it didn't matter to me. I didn't care. Like I got so much love for Denise Chayman, man, because she's one of those casting directors who immediately saw something in me, and you are in casting's room where the casting director may collaborate with you on, kind of give you some feedback, give you like
working with you.
Yes,
the
working with. That's the word.
Yeah,
that's the word. She was working with me, and it empowered me so much because I was like, this lady is working with. I can tell she's working with me on this. She wants me to win, just like I want to make sure that I look good for her, because she's the one who has to send her submissions. So I want to make sure that I'm looking good for her as well, not just me. Her belief in me, man. So I just was stoked to go in there and work out again, do another, workout with Denise and her team over there. And we just had fun in this audition because, and it's interesting, that's the same feeling I felt with Young and the Restless. And that's why I took that risk on Young and the Restless, because that casting director, I'm so sorry, I can't even think of her name. Sheila, I can't think of her last name. I'm so sorry. But she was the same way for me. Yeah. And when you walk in that room and the room is already set up for you, it's up for you to execute. And that's what it was, man. And we just had so much fun.
You're playing.
Yeah. So I didn't even care. Bro, I literally did. I left that and I was just like, man, that was so much fun. Shout out to Denise. I had another experience. And then it was a little while had went by, and they was like, yo, you on hold for that, it was Island something job.
You like,
and I was like, dang, I forgot all about that. Oh, okay. I'm on hold.
That's the way to do it though, too. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, I've always, even when I used to go in the rooms, second I walk out, throw the sides away. Like, I'm not sitting on this.
No.
This is over.
Gotta be busy.
Their project is their project, and they're going to make it with or without me. Cool. But I know I went there, I did my thing.
Bro.
And then when I'm out, I'm out. If you want to call me back, I'll get new sides.
I overthought so many projects that I thought that I just booked. You know, when you on hold in there, bro, you waking up, already being on set, doing the whole thing, and then they just crush you when they say, yo, nah, they went another direction. I was like, bro, I just dedicated 2.5 weeks of my life to thinking that I was going to be on the set. So anyway, I learned very quickly, to your point, to let that joint go. Like, I had to get that wisdom to throw it but be busy. So I'm so busy that I wasn't even thinking about it. I completely forgot about it. And then it wasn't until I booked it that they finally told me what it was. And so they booked it. It was like, yo, congratulations, you booked Island, whatever it was, and which real name is Top Gun. And I was like, yo, and I couldn't say nothing to nobody for 2 years because it happened right as the pandemic was starting.
Oh, bro. So then you had to wait till the box office reopened.
I had to wait 2 years, so I couldn't say nothing. My hair was longer, everything, because I had the shortcut at that time. So people didn't even know it was me at first because I had a whole new look. You know what I mean? We had to wait and sit on it, and they didn't even know. Wild. No one knew. Like my mom and my wife and my brother.
Yeah, like the immediate,
were the only ones who knew, but I couldn't tell no one else, man.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, dog. So that was a cool experience, man.
So 3 of your favorite books, you already mentioned Outliers. Yeah.
My 3 favorite books.
And what was the Basquiat book called?
It was a documentary.
The documentary. What was that documentary called?
I think it's Radiant Child.
Radiant Child. Okay.
3 favorite books. Every year I try to cycle through The Celestine Prophecy.
Okay, I've heard of it. Never.
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Losing Your Mind by Joe Dispenza, and A Wealth Choice, a Black Choice. It's Think and Grow Rich, but it's a Black choice. Is by I forget the Black author, but he was able to collaborate with the notes in estate of Napoleon Hill. But it's for minorities, to me, it's a must read, and it just teaches you how to approach this whole game and industry as an entity, and as a business, and making sure that you're learning all of the intricacies of information that we're not privy to.
Yeah.
That sets you up to set up a legacy and, financially learn all of the tricks of the trades to, create yourself
and have financial independence,
a corporation, and all of these things.
Yeah.
It's so important. So I went with Celestine Prophecy because it's a book about spiritual alignment and being aware of how one thing leads to the next through a divine, and being conscious of energy. And then Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I love that one because it teaches you about quantum physics and the neuroscience of how you can be in collaboration with the universe, and how energy gives you the whole structure of how your brain informs your body, and how thoughts inform your actions, and all of these type of things. Like, it gives you the whole science behind how your body and brain and how energy and everything works. And I love that because it taught me that once you learn how you learn, it opens up a whole new pathway for you. There's a lot of times that you don't even know the way that you uniquely learn, and you feel like you're ignorant, or you feel like you aren't getting it because everyone else is getting it through this way, and they're looking at you like, how are you not understanding this? But once you learn how you learn, you can be concentrated and focused, and open up a whole new pathway of everything, and be in collaboration with yourself instead of against yourself. And it teaches you how even your thoughts, when they're against you, how is performing illness on your body. And bro, I just want to, again, produce healthy energy. So this helped me understand how to produce more healthy energy, because if you ain't healthy, you ain't efficient, you ain't optimal, you're in pain. You
don't even have wealth.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as I set up seeing this path, like I told you, I took this path of entrepreneur, the wealth choice, Think and Grow Rich, the Black choice, that spoke in my language, and it make sense to how to approach this game, especially when I was setting up my art business. And so that's why I am big on, making sure your foundation is set and in a position to have efficient flow, because that's the only way. If you're looking for attracting abundance has to flow, like we said.
Yeah.
So finding that structure, that was a book that helped me, and I got to keep revisiting it, because you get different discoveries and deliveries every single time. And so they those are the 3 books in just 3 that continuously bless me. I got to throw one more in there.
Yeah.
The One Thing.
The One Thing. I gotta look at that.
By Gary, I can't think of the last name, but The One Thing, bro, that changed the whole game. And I'll tell you, just the thing that I loved about it is it taught me, no matter what we doing, and I'm interested to see if off top, but what I realized through that book is, no matter what, even though I'm a creative, what my one thing that I do in everything that I do is I tell a story. I'm a storyteller. And so once I realized, my superpowers, one of my main superpowers is storytelling. So everything that I do, if I know and now filter this through the lens of storytelling, I now can connect through my superpower. So if I'm creating music, I'm storytelling. If I'm on screen, I'm storytelling. If I'm creating a piece of art, I'm storytelling. If I'm speaking at a school or I'm speaking at an event, I'm storytelling. If I'm entertaining my family and stuff at a cookout, I'm storytelling. If you know, I'm in a relationship and we on a date, we storytelling. You know what I mean? And I'm playing basketball. I'm telling a unique story through basketball. I was that aggressive dude. You know, I was that dude that you hated to have guarding you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was that person. That was a story I was telling. Everywhere we go, even how we dress. Speaking of, we have on the same
exact fit.
joint. We telling our story. And so I realized that and I was like, whoa, this book just blessed me. Now I can at least simplify this and filter everything that I do through this because this is my superpower. I tell stories. So
and you're creating stories.
I'm bringing them to life, G.
Yeah.
And so that's why I got to throw that plug out there too, because if someone can find what their one thing is, that bleeds through everything. So let me ask you that question.
That's now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. What's your one thing that's attached to everything that you do, either consciously or subconsciously? And I leave with love.
That's one thing I got to think about.
All right.
'Cause I will say I do think I do lead in, you know, whether you want to call it energy or my gut or whatever you want to call it. I do definitely follow or do what I feel I should be doing. You know what I mean? What's in the flow of where I should be going. Or
that's dope.
And I pay attention to,
that's dope.
like you said too, I pay attention to like the way signs, the waypoints.
Yeah.
Like I will see certain things and I'll go, there's something here I need to delve into.
Right.
And I need to uncover.
Right.
But to put it in words, when you start saying it, I was like, I like that though. I need to, because I know that there's
it's gonna change
something.
the game.
I would say that producer brain thing is a part of it.
Okay.
I know there's probably a better way I could word it.
Bro, it's gonna change the game. I truly pray and empower you to check out that book because I'm really interested to see what it delivers to you, man, because it delivers something that everybody that I encourage to read that, they always call me afterwards like, yo, this joint is crazy. I didn't even think about this. And then they'll tell me what their one thing is because it just simplifies everything. And then you can build from that. And so now, as soon as I pay attention. When something's getting delivered, I know when it got delivered and I pay attention. Right. This lady stopped me and she was like, I just read this book called The One Thing and I thought of you and I feel like you need to read it. I ordered that joint immediately, finished that joint in 2 days, and then called her and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You were sent to
deliver this message,
deliver this to me. And I'm so grateful for being able to receive it and then now apply it because my life changed forever. Now, that was like a key, bro. That was like getting a stock that was already full. And it was like, yo, now you get to go out here and create through this key that you unlock something. So that's what that is for me, man. And I'm really excited to see what get delivered for you, man, because I respect, again, man, as we are closing, man, I thank you for this time. I thank you for this journey too, because you're on a unique journey and you're going to bring people into this space and you're going to keep collecting, dope discoveries on different people's, I call them superheroes journeys. And, you setting up the stage, you set up the space for this, and you're being intentional. And so with that intention, man, I send love to that intention. I send love to this journey, and I'm excited to see what it produced, man, because, again, man, I want you to win. I want you to see you do well, and I want to see you blessing people, man, because this is dope, bro.
Well, thank you for paying it forward, brother.
100%, bro.
Love, man.
100%.
I appreciate you.
All right, man. Bless it.
We out.
Yo,
peace.
Bless it.